The spotlight hits you warm and blinding. You stand on a stage, microphone clutched in your hand, facing a sea of unfamiliar faces. This wasn't supposed to happen. They called you up here by mistake, right? You have nothing valuable to offer, nothing interesting to say. Panic claws at your throat. Your mind goes blank and your voice stolen. You stammer, I can't. A ripple of confusion runs through the audience, followed by a murmur that quickly escalates into mocking laughter. Shame burns your cheeks as you shrink back, the stage lights blurring with unshed tears. You jolt awake, heart pounding against your chest. Relief washes over you as you realize it was just a dream. But the feeling lingers, that gnawing sense of inadequacy, of being a fraud. You know with a sinking feeling that this dream reflects a very real struggle you face. Impostor syndrome. This dream, while not your own, is a common experience for many entrepreneurs. I'm curious if this is resonating with you, and if so, and you're open to it, I would love to start the discussion in the comments. Now, let's dig in. We'll explore how imposter syndrome manifests in both your personal life and your business life. So today we're talking about how a scenario like this might hit close to home for you. We're exploring how imposter syndrome shows up in your life and your business as a military spouse, entrepreneur at that. Now, we all know the constant deployments, the relocations, the juggling of careers and families. It's enough to make anyone feel like they're just winging it. But what happens when that feeling bleeds into your life and your entrepreneurial endeavors? Well, let's break it down. Let's take a look at your personal life first. So being a military spouse is a masterclass in adaptability. You pick up, rebuild every few years in a new community with a new job, new social circles, essentially a new everything. And it's no wonder that sometimes you feel like an outsider, like you haven't quite cracked the code wherever you land. And this can leave you feeling like you never quite have a handle on anything, like you're just getting by through the skin of your teeth. And it'll have you questioning yourself at the core level. It's that nagging voice that whispers, "You're not qualified for this. They'll eventually find out that you're a fake." It can make you feel like you're not a great spouse and will even attack you as a mother. Now, let's look at this through the business perspective. As a military spouse entrepreneur, you face unique challenges here as well. So you may struggle with things like childcare or finding reliable support systems in each of your new locations. You might not have stable systems in place that help you keep the flow during those major transitions. And then your emotions and stressors can get very big during these times. And of course, there's the constant uncertainty of knowing how your spouse's next move could drastically impact your business, your life in general. All of these factors can feed that imposter syndrome. So you may end up comparing yourself to other entrepreneurs who have seemingly stable lives or established businesses. That may lead to downplaying your achievements or thinking things like, my success was just luck, it won't last, I couldn't replicate it. And then this leads to things like self-doubt, procrastination, and it can stop your growth. Let's talk about breaking free. So how do we break free from this cycle of imposter syndrome? Here are some tools to help you silence that inner critic that shows up when you're experiencing the imposter syndrome. So the first of those things is to acknowledge and challenge that negative voice. The first step is becoming aware of the critical voice in your head, and then pay attention to what it whispers when those feelings of doubt arise. And it can be helpful to label it, to give it a name or a tag like the imposter or the doubter, perhaps something much more creative. But this can help you to separate yourself from that negativity. Challenge its validity as well. Ask yourself, is this thought helpful or even accurate? And what you're going to find out is that negative voice is based in fear, not reality. And the truth is, logic is not who is driving here. So once you recognize what that inner critic is saying isn't true, there's still work to be done. So keep rocking with me. That takes us to step 2, which is reframe your narrative. So instead of dwelling on perceived shortcomings, identify your strengths and accomplishments. You can do this by listing skills, experience, and then of course that unique value that you bring to the table. Then reframe these negative thoughts. So when the voice whispers, "I'm not qualified," counter it with something positive like, "I'm resourceful and adaptable and I learn quickly." Don't forget to give yourself evidence of these positive statements, because when you are in a really tough emotional space, that evidence is going to be a game changer for you. Celebrate these wins, always. Acknowledge and celebrate. Big, small, it doesn't matter. We celebrate them all. And this reinforces your progress and it helps you to build confidence. Number 3 is to practice positive self-talk. So replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations. So instead of I can't do this, say I can learn to do this. And then focus on I am statements like I am capable, I am resilient, I am worthy of success. And always, again, with this, adding that evidence. Now, number 4 is your community. So surrounding yourself by other military spouse entrepreneurs that you can connect with and who understand your unique struggles. You can offer one another support and encouragement. It is so important to get out of your own head and talk through these things. And I think that what you'll find is you're not alone in feeling this way. When you have that community and these things are out in the open, you can support one another and you can grow through it together. Also, seek out a mentor, somebody, an entrepreneur who has been through what you're going through, or a coach who can offer support and encouragement, or both. All right. Now, number 5 is to take action. Do not let that imposter syndrome hold you back from pursuing your dreams. Start with the small steps on inner work and always celebrating those milestones. And please remember, progress over perfection. Now, one final note here is that these tips are a gorgeous place to start, but imposter syndrome is an identity belief that resides at a very deep core level. So give yourself permission to do the inner work and let it take as long as it needs to take to feel those shifts. That self-doubt, unfortunately, will whip back around. It's just how it works. That doesn't go away entirely. But the difference is that you can quickly quiet that critical voice of self-doubt now, because at the core where that imposter syndrome used to live, you know who you are. You are a rock star. Please keep in mind always, you're not alone. The vast majority of entrepreneurs deal with imposter syndrome, but you don't have to let it control you. By acknowledging it, reframing your thinking, practicing positive self-talk, leaning into a supportive network, and taking continuous action, you can overcome that imposter syndrome and embrace the amazing entrepreneur that you are. Now, if this video is resonating with you, I've got another video where you can dive into some techniques that will help you to continue to heal the imposter syndrome, and you can, you can access that here.